Now I want to turn to really an icon of and a thought leader on the right, Dinesh D'Souza, new book, Stealing America, and also a film coming out. He had the preview for it, the extended trailer at CPAC, and people are really looking forward to this. The book is really about what my experience with criminal gangs taught me about Obama, Hillary, and the Democratic Party. Dinesh, thank you so much for being on the show and talking about the Hillary's America.
Steve, it's a pleasure. Very excited about the book and even more about the film, which we're thinking of releasing the week of the Democratic Convention.
Dinesh, you're always a pot stirrer. Tell me what did you find out when you had these the legal issues and you actually had some time incarcerated? You actually learned something that they didn't teach you at Dartmouth, did they?
Yeah, I think what I learned most of all is that you cannot look at politics simply as a clash of ideas. I've tended for 25 years to write about politics as a kind of debate. We care about liberty. They care about equality. We want equality of rights. They want equality of results. One thing you learn from the hoodlums, so to speak, is that they live at the very elemental level. They recognize that human nature is motivated by avarice and greed and lust and revenge and hatred, and they tend to look at these low motives in driving people, and including the way people act politically. And so I begin to look at the Democratic Party and progressivism not just as a movement of ideas, but as a movement to seize wealth and power, to get its hands on the wealth of America, and to exercise power over other people's lives in the same way that a criminal gang does.
You saw this weekend in some of these, the institutional left showing some of these rallies. Is that what you're talking about, where you see that these guys are really driven by almost the ability to have power to really to just kind of hold on to this country and really to not build it or not create wealth for themselves and other people, to really just kind of extract as much wealth as possible?
I think those kinds of showdowns are a small manifestation of it. A bigger manifestation of it would be to see the way that in the last 8 years we've seen the federal government. Now, the government here means the progressives, the Obama gang. What have they been doing? They've been extending federal control over one major industry over another. I'm talking about industries in the private sector. So following on the 2008 crisis, it was banking and investment houses. Then through the bailouts, it was the automobile sector. Then through Obamacare, it was healthcare, every hospital, every hospice, every doctor. And now they're making a move with energy and education. So this is where the wealth of America is concentrated. And the government, through essentially takeovers, mandates, regulation. The progressives are too lazy to create wealth. They don't want to go to Midland, Texas, and take oil out of the ground. They don't know how to do that. They want the private sector to create the wealth, put the oil into a drum, label it, and then they want to usurp the wealth, the power, to direct how that wealth is used. So I don't think this is just about thuggery on the street. It's about taking over the actual wealth of the country.
But you're one of the things you made in the book, and I think is going to be in the movie, is that you said this is not just the liberalism is not just a kind of a defective, set of ideas, but it's really almost like a crime syndicate. I mean, that's a pretty harsh term when you look at the Democratic Party, what it's devolved into. Walk me through how you support that.
Well, first of all, I support it both historically and in the present. I mean, we see with Hillary, even more than with Obama, the idea that government is a kind of gang. We've seen corruption, for example, in America at the local level. Tammany Hall in New York, the Daily Machine in Chicago. This is local politicians running the government like a racket. But never before have we seen someone do that, for example, at the level of Secretary of State, in which, the Clintons have been able to take the racket, you may say, global. They figured out how to extract money from Canadian billionaires with mining interests in Africa. They figured out how to siphon aid directed at Haiti to help Haiti rebuild after a massive earthquake. With Bill Clinton being the UN representative for the aid and Hillary being Secretary of State, a good deal of that money ends up in the coffers of the Clinton Foundation and some of it in the pockets of the Clintons themselves. I mean, this is, you may say, criminal activity of a scale never before imagined. And that's what's enabled the Clintons to go from zero to hundreds of millions of dollars at warp speed.
Talk to us about the film and about the release of the film. What can people anticipate? Your last two have been huge hits, and people love your movies. What's your when can people get access to this? When can they see more of an extended trailer? And what's going to be the release pattern?
Well, 2016 was a movie just about Obama, and it's kind of a secret history of Obama. The new film is going to be not just a secret history of Hillary, but also of the Democratic Party. In that sense, it strikes closer to home against the left. Now, the Democratic Party has got this narrative going. We're the party of civil rights and human rights. We're the party of liberation. What we show in this film is that the Democratic Party, from the beginning, starting really in the 19th century, has been the party of theft, exploitation, subjugation, and violation of human beings, particularly minorities. Now, we're not talking about ancient history here. Some people say, well, you're talking about the antebellum period of slavery. No, we're also talking about the postbellum period of segregation, Jim Crow. We're talking about lynching. We're talking about forced sterilization. We're talking about support for fascism, the internment of the Japanese during World War II. This is a kind of a systematic pattern of theft and abuse. And finally, we also deal with this issue that the Democrats somehow supposedly switched. Supposedly, the Democrats say, well, yeah, we did some of those bad things, but then we became really enlightened and smart, and we became the party, the good guys, and all the racists became Republicans. No, that's not true. The big switch is a big lie. So part of what we're doing here is retelling the story of American politics in a way that shows that many of the crimes of the Democratic Party, of Obama and Hillary, are rooted in things that this party has been doing to America and to poor people for a long time.
So, Dinesh, right now you're thinking of premiering the film around the Democratic convention. I take that's in mid to late July, and then you're going to have it in theaters out for the August timeframe for people to see it in the run-up to the November election?
Yes, exactly. We're thinking of doing a premiere at the Republican convention, and kind of and then open the week of the Democratic convention wide in theaters across the country. The film will then go to DVD in the beginning of October for about in the month run up to the election. So we're hoping to make a big splash with this film and cause a big stir.
Dinesh D'Souza, filmmaker, author. The movie is called Hillary's America. It'll be out this summer. It's going to be, I'm sure, another blockbuster. Dinesh, thank you so much. Look forward to having you on here as this primary continues to pound through. We want to get your insights on that.
Looking forward to it, Steve. Thank you. Looking forward.